The topic of discussion for this presentation is what are the typical post incorporation matters that you need to take care of. What activities should appear on your to do list after Singapore company incorporation? So let's have a look. First of all, you will need to ensure some of the matters related to your company. Normally, if you are engaging a corporate service provider, they will do all these activities for you. However, if you are incorporating company yourself, especially if you are a Singaporean or a permanent resident and registering a company, you will have to ensure these things are complied with so that you don't get any fines from ACRA. So the first point is to ensure that you appoint a company secretary. Appointment of company secretary is required to be done within first 6 months after the incorporation. It is best generally if you appoint the secretary at the time of incorporation itself. Normally, one of the director can appear as a company secretary also. The next thing will be to appoint an auditor if required. Now, every company in Singapore is not subject to audit. The requirement for audit exists only if the company or the group turnover is exceeding $10 million or if the assets under management are more than $10 million or if the number of employees is more than 50. Now, because of this condition, majority of the small companies are not subject to audit, and you will have to decide whether your company really falls in this category or not. However, I will say normally 99% of the new companies will not be required to appoint an auditor because of this criteria. The next thing will be to hold a first board meeting. So first board meeting resolutions are normally circulated immediately after company incorporation, and it basically sets out roles and responsibilities of different people in the company. So it is better that you do this so that there is a clarity about decision making of the board of directors. Now the next group that I'm going to talk about is other registration requirements. So you have incorporated the company and you might be doing a specific type of transactions, and for that you may need additional registrations. For example, the first one is a central registration number. So this is a registration with TradeNet in Singapore, and if you are in the import and export of products into Singapore, then you will need to register for this number so that goods can come in Singapore or go out of Singapore on your company account. Now please note, if you are just running an import and export company but goods are not entering into Singapore, then in that case you don't need this registration. The next one will be CPF registration. So if you plan to employ people in Singapore, if somebody is going to be on payroll of your company, then CPF registration will be required if that employee is a Singapore citizen or a permanent resident, because you are required to deduct certain percentage of employee's salary every month, add your contribution of CPF and deposit that money to the CPF board. The next one is GST registration. This is again you will need to do only if it is required. Small companies are exempted from GST registration and charging mechanism. If your turnover in Singapore is exceeding or likely to exceed $1 million in one accounting year, then you are required to register for GST. So normally I will say that majority of the small companies do not need to register for GST immediately after incorporation. It might take some time for this liability to arise. And the last but not the least is business license application. So if you are into the sector which is regulated by one of the Singapore government authorities, then you will need to apply for business license. Typical examples of these sectors are recruitment of people, travel and insurance businesses, telecom businesses, and so on. So if you are required to obtain the business license, then you will have to finish this step before you can commence the operations. And there are some more matters which also you need to pay attention to. First one of them is bank account opening. So obviously once your company is incorporated, you will open a bank account, and you will need that for receiving and making payments. So that activity is a must. The next one is to think about payroll system or payroll provider. If you are going to employ people, you will need to maintain a payroll system. And what happens is that Ministry of Manpower is bit strict about it. So even if you are a small employer with one or two employees, you will need to maintain this data meticulously. But the good thing is that there are many companies who provide this as a service. There are some stringent rules around this, like how you should print your payroll slip and how it should be distributed and all that. So make sure you don't go wrong on this. And the last thing will be maintaining an accounting system or service provider. Obviously, as you start your operations and transaction starts happening in your bank account, you will need to maintain the accounting record. So for this, some online system or a service provider needs to be engaged. Normally, many of the small companies for first year may engage some outside provider to whom they can outsource this work. And the work need not necessarily be done on a monthly basis, it can be done on an annual basis also. So these are the matters which you should use as a checklist to ensure that your activities of your Singapore registered company are completed on time.
Thank you for watching this video. This video was brought to you by Epica Consulting Singapore. Subscribe to our channel today to get notified when new videos are posted.